On the G20. Joining me now is Jeff Moon. He's the president of China Moon Strategies here in Washington. He was an assistant U.S. trade representative for China in the Obama White House. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Now, Brazil has set a broad and ambitious agenda for the summit. The themes are fighting inequality, promoting sustainability, and reforming global governance. So how can the governments approach these issues? What can we expect?
Well, the G20 is a gathering of the world's largest economies. It is a consensus-based organization, doesn't have a permanent staff, it has a rotating presidency, it does not have an enforcement mechanism. So the G20, its concrete contribution is the communique that it issues every year. And when we hear about the discussions there, they are all leading to this communique. The G20 is most effective when the world leaders generally agree on an approach to a major problem. For example, after the financial crisis in 2008 and 2009, the G20 was very effective. Much less effective when world leaders do not agree and there is not a consensus. So we're going to be seeing right now talk about a lot of issues where there really maybe isn't a consensus about how to go forward. And the communique that's going to come forward is going to be a compromise because everyone needs to sign off on it. It's not going to be strong enough or weak enough for anyone there. It will be a compromise approach going forward.
Well, you speak of the importance of consensus. How does the summit at this moment in time fit into the broader context of global geopolitical tensions that we're seeing, particularly with respect to China, the US, and Russia?
Well, I think that this is a good gauge of the fault lines in global sentiment. This is a good opportunity for the airing of all the different views and for some politicking. Frankly, I think that the most important part of the meetings is not the public meetings that you're going to see leading to the communique, but rather the bilateral meetings that are going to be there. And the bilateral meetings are where countries can talk about a whole range of issues and get business done concretely. And that's where the tensions that we now see can be more fully addressed, I think, between the countries.
Now, one of the issues that is front and center at this G20 summit is, of course, climate change and the impacts that it's been having around the world. So how do you see the G20 member countries coming together and discussing how to tackle this issue and, in particular, implement the Paris Agreement that's a decade or so old at this point?
Right. Well, there has been problems implementing that agreement. The COP29 has been going on in Azerbaijan and has not necessarily reached an agreement on how to go forward. Those discussions will continue at the G20. But in the background here, it's no secret that the world's largest economy, the United States, is about to experience a change in leadership and a different attitude towards climate. And I think that any agreement or communique that is arrived at the G20 this time needs to sort of take that future possibility into account as well.
All right, Jeff Moon, many thanks for your insights there and for joining us on the show.
Thank you.